Well, good morning and welcome back to Cityline. With me, I'm talking with somebody who I could talk with all day because he has a beautiful sense of justice, and it serves him well because he is the project managing attorney for the Housing Justice Project, otherwise known as Tacomaprobono Community Lawyers. Mark Marzol, how are you?
How are you, Amanda? It's great to be in the studio.
It's great to have you in the studio because I know what you do because I do a lot of, we intersect a lot.
Sure do.
We do in my other job that I do. So if people don't know what Tacoma Pro Bono Community Lawyers provide for our community, how do you answer that?
Yeah, so the easiest way to think of it is we do civil legal aid, which means we work with low-income individuals that are facing a variety of different civil legal issues. And those could be anything from housing, be family law issues. It could be removing prior convictions on their record so that they can move forward with their lives. It could be probate issues. It could be family law issues. If you have a problem, reach out to Tacoma Pro Bono, and chances are we have an attorney, either a volunteer or a staff attorney, that'll be able to talk with you about your problem.
That is amazing because we all know that the courts were closed for a while and answering machines were full and people were working from home. So it is such a relief to hear you say, call us and we'll pick up the phone. So the eviction moratorium, let's get to the meat of this interview, ended more than 6 months ago. And are we seeing that predicted tsunami of evictions?
Yeah, so that's a really great question, and I'm going to give you a two-part answer to that one. So it's about 12 months. It's been almost a year. Last summer is when the eviction moratorium ended. And if you look at just the rote number of eviction filings in Pierce County, we're seeing back in May, I believe there's right around 160 eviction filings. For some people, that might be a massive amount, but it's about 75% of what we would see in other years. So if you go back to 2018, 2019. And so some people might look at that number and think, wow, we avoided the tsunami, it never hit us. But then there's the other side of the issue of all the people that are trying to help out with what's happening in the situation. And you know this, through the eviction resolution pilot program, through rental assistance, through legal aid.
Yes.
We are all feeling the tsunami. There are so many individuals that need help that have avoided the court process, have avoided the eviction process. They're not showing up on that number of evictions, that 160 per month yet, but they need help right now. And you know this through the eviction resolution pilot program. All of our capacity, all of our programs are backlogged to such an extent that the tsunami is real. If people just look at the number, they might not see it. So
yeah. Because the number is misleading because each one of those cases has so much connected to it. It's not just a matter of showing up for court. Last time you were here, actually I think the last time was when I was Zooming in my kitchen with you. This is your first time on the comfy couch. You mentioned the landlord-tenant laws had changed. Are those making a difference to prevent evictions, or are they making it more cumbersome?
Yeah, so I think they're making a very real difference. The laws that changed last year were very significant in the sense that the major law that changed, it gets all the fanfare, is something called just cause eviction. So no longer can a landlord just ask a tenant to move. They have to have one of 16 very specific reasons and ask them to move in order to ask that tenant to move or move forward with the eviction process. But there's other aspects to the law that are working directly to try to prevent these evictions from happening. One of them, which a lot of tenants don't understand now or don't know about yet, is that if they show up in court for their eviction proceeding, the court has to screen you to see if you're eligible for an attorney to represent you at your eviction proceeding. As it is right now, about 40% of tenants don't show up for their eviction proceeding and they lose by default. But now if you show up, you can get a lawyer appointed to you to represent your case. And everybody knows that has been in court before and is a non-lawyer. We speak a language that a lot of people don't understand. There's a dialogue going on between the attorneys and the court, and everybody's wondering what's going on. But now tenants have somebody to speak for them.
Yes.
That's another big component of what happened. The eviction resolution pilot program, the creation of it, was another thing that's working behind the scenes to try to prevent evictions. And we had spoken about it when we were at break here. This program is going to be around at least until July of 2023. I'm super optimistic that's going to be extended beyond that.
I hope so.
I think there's a lot of push to do that. There's a lot of good work that's coming through the ERPP. So that's another program that's working in the background to try to tamp down the number of evictions that we're seeing.
So the question is the eviction resolution program still available as of, July 21st here, to landlord and tenants who still want to work out a past due rent or payment plan?
Yeah, it is available, and like I just mentioned, it's going to be available for sure for another year, and hopefully beyond that. And for those of you that are unaware of what the Eviction Resolution Pilot Program is, it is a mediation program that brings landlords and tenants together to try to resolve non-payment of rent issues before they hit the courthouse. And so this gives, and the mediators at the Eviction Resolution Pilot Program, the local Center for Dialogue and Resolution here, are experts in getting people to start talking, and we know that tensions are really high right now. But it's a way to try to work out the issue before it gets to the court.
All the skills I use here, I use with tenants, still trying to get them to open up. So let's talk about rental assistance. That is the big neon sign. Is it still available, Mark?
It is for now. It is for now. So new applications for Pierce County rental assistance will stop on August 1st. So if you are a tenant out there and you already have your application in, you're good. If you're a tenant that's been thinking about it, maybe I apply, maybe I don't, maybe I qualify, maybe I don't qualify, there's that deadline of August 1st. Get your application in right now and see if you apply for it. The Pierce County Rental Assistance has been doing some wonderful stuff. I think it is one of the best rental assistance agencies in Washington State.
I agree.
Yeah, so they have doled out over 90,000 individual months of rent. Now imagine if that hadn't been paid. We talk about those 160 evictions that would have come through. Those are all evictions that were prevented, and if people get back on their feet, delayed or prevented for good. And so they've helped over 10,000 households so far. There's still a wait list. It takes time. We just discussed this. Everybody's submerged with the amount of things that are going on. But yeah, get in your application before August 1st.
So if a tenant receives a 14-day eviction notice, first off, what should they do besides dry their tears and take a deep breath? Does it mean they need to leave their home in 14 days?
Yeah, no, it doesn't. And unfortunately, some people have that belief. If a tenant has another place to go, that's fine. You could move, but you're not forced to move on day 15. That simply means that the landlord can take additional steps to start the eviction process. The eviction process involves a lot of paperwork that needs to be served on the tenant. Another thing that tenants need to understand is with the 14-day notice right now, there's other paperwork that has to come along with it. That includes an offer of repayment, a repayment plan offer from the landlord so that the tenant can get caught up on their back rent. It also includes a notice informing the tenant about the Eviction Resolution Pilot Program. It's very important that tenants respond to the Eviction Resolution Pilot Program to get the help they need to prevent the eviction. Yeah.
We often say at the Center for Dialogue and Resolution, where I spend a lot of my time, that we have to make sure that landlords and tenants both have skin in the game and they're able to self-determine their own course of correction. And it's like anything, you got to show up and do what we ask you to do so the system can take care and work the way it's supposed to.
That's absolutely right.
Let's talk about the help team, which prevents evictions by helping tenants with all kinds of problems before they're facing eviction, which, let me tell you, of the phone calls I take every single day, people wished they would have known this a year ago. So what issues does the help team help with?
Yeah, so the help team is a component of the Housing Justice Project, and it's actually an acronym that stands for Homelessness Eviction Legal Prevention. And it's a team of attorneys. I'd mentioned before that if you show up for your court hearing, you could get appointed an attorney to represent you. But there's all sorts of housing issues that happen before somebody gets to the courthouse. So we have a team of 5 attorneys that work specifically with those issues. It could be anything from security deposit returns, getting evictions off records, dealing with illegal utility shutoffs, illegal evictions. And so that team is established to work with tenants before they even have to get an attorney appointed to them.
Wow.
And we recognize there's going to be a problem. People have issues before they get to the courthouse. So we built up a team to deal specifically with those issues, including when a tenant receives a notice, right? The 14 notices we just talked about, that team can talk to you about your options and what's supposed to happen. They could talk to you about what the Eviction Resolution Pilot Program is and what to expect when you get there. So it's really important that tenants reach out even before they get to the court.
Yeah, it absolutely is. We often say, raise your hand and stand in the solution. Mark, I love having you on the comfy couch. It's great to check in with you. Will you please come back in September so we can talk about August 1st and rental assistance and how this is going, so we can continue to keep people, landlords and tenants, informed.
Yeah, I would love to be back on the couch. It's my first time in the studio. Maybe I'll be back for a second time.
I love this. I know we were zooming from the kitchen, weren't we?
Yeah,
That's
we were.
right, because you've never been on the comfy couch.
right.
Well, you
That's
did an
right.
outstanding job. So, Mr. Mark, thank you so much. Thank you. All right, when we come back, after just a little bit of musical chairs, we will have Tacoma Public Library in the house. You don't want to miss that. We'll be right back.